The MSI Claw A8 is the rarest handheld in the world. MSI released it in Hungary and Malaysia, I guess, going by their website, and I think parts of Europe as well. And then they forgot to release it in North America. It has been months of this being out with no sign of a release. That being said, thanks to a very random listing on a website called pccanada.com, I was able to buy and snag one of these a few weeks ago at 1,227 Canadian dollars, which is 868 US dollars as of today. For those of you that aren't Canadian, buying off of this website is not a usual website. It would be like buying a PC from Shake Shack in the US. Maybe not the same, but it isn't a normal website that you release handhelds on. That is still Best Buy, Amazon, all of that sort of thing. So it was a weird scenario. And over the last few weeks with this handheld, I can sort of see why MSI has forgotten about this. But also, this was so close to being my new favorite handheld. Let's talk about it. So, right off the bat, the MSI Claw A8 is using the new Ryzen Z2 Extreme processor, putting the performance on par with the new Xbox Ally X and Lenovo Legion Go 2, since they're all sharing the same processor. Like the Xbox Ally X, this is using 24GB of LPDDR5X 8000 RAM. Unlike the Xbox Ally X, this has an 8-inch 1920 by 1200 120Hz VRR screen, which honestly is absolutely gorgeous. This is not the first time that we have seen this screen. It has been in a lot of different devices at the 8-inch size. But this is the first time where, for me, it actually worked well. More on that in a second. There is Wi-Fi 7 here, which is a nice upgrade over the Xbox Ally X's Wi-Fi 6E, especially since my house is all Wi-Fi 7. Then we have an 80 watt-hour battery, which is fabulous, and battery life on here is just not a concern. And lastly, we have a weight of 765 grams. Now, I said this is probably the first device where the screen actually works for me. I've used a bunch of devices with the same screen, but none of them have been like this. The reason it works is this is a large handheld for sure, but it is nice and thin, or thinner than usual ones, and it is flat and spread out. So it is a very different sort of handheld than like the MSI Claw 8, where it was a little bit shorter on the width-wise, and then bulkier. All of it is distributed across the entire display. So the weight is better here, but also the display works better with the type of handheld this is. Despite weighing 50 grams heavier than the Xbox Ally X, I would probably consider them to be pretty equal when it comes to actually holding the device. This just feels way bigger. So for me, this is probably the first device where I can understand why people love 8-inch screens. I haven't been that type in the past. I like my handhelds to be smaller, especially when I want to bring them on the go. But I can understand it here in this specific device why people like the 8-inch screen. It was a weird thing to notice for somebody who, like myself, really likes 7-inch screens. I don't have an issue with them, and I still don't, but the 8-inch screen works for me here. Now, with all of that being said, they did get one thing horribly wrong, and it is the comfort. This is actually my biggest sticking point because it turns a device that I actually probably would have used as my daily device. This probably could have gone toe-to-toe with my Xbox Ally X for favorite PC handheld of the year, but it's changed that to a device that I likely will not be keeping. The Claw A8 has straight-edged, almost Lego-like design with no curves or really anything for comfort, to the point where at the parts where your hands rest, it almost feels like you need Lego hands to be able to hold this properly. I went and picked up a Lego after this, and even a Lego hand is curved, so maybe not even for them. It ruins what is otherwise an actually really good device if they could have nailed down the comfort. The sticks feel really good, they have good range of motion, and they feel fine to me. But I'm not a big fan of the actual grippy texture they use on the sticks. They seem to bother my thumbs quite a bit. I could get used to them, but I don't really need to anymore. I do wish they were a little bit softer like the Xbox Ally X's and other devices. The D-pad is also something that I'm not a super big fan of. I don't think it's one of the better D-pads. It is smaller, but it is also sloped and harder to push down than other D-pads are. So it's not the best or my favorite. The buttons are loud, like the Xbox Ally X's, but these are great buttons. I think I might actually prefer these over the Xbox Ally X's buttons. And I actually love that the LEDs shine through them. It adds a nice little touch that I wish the Xbox Ally X had. This has it, and yeah, the buttons are great. The shoulders and triggers are a bit disappointing. They went with smaller sized options for both of them, trying to mimic an Xbox controller, I think. And it just does not work with a device that's this big and this size. They are just too small. And I just found myself not really enjoying my time with the triggers especially. Then we get to the speakers, and the speakers actually sound pretty good. They do the same thing that the Xbox Ally X does, where the speaker vibrations will go through the grips of where your hands hold. That adds a level of immersion that I'm really enjoying this year. But let's have a quick listen to what they sound like. Fan noise is hard to pin down. I have had a lot of games where I just played and I don't hear the fan at all. Final Fantasy Tactics, a lot of other games where I'm just playing, I can hear the music, I can hear the game, I don't hear the fan, which is great. But then I'll load up some other games or I'll charge the device while I'm playing. All of that, the fan goes crazy. This fan does get louder than the Xbox Ally X, and as somebody who hates fan noise, the times where this happens is so far and few between that I've gotten used to it, and it's not really a big issue to me. This actually would pass my own personal fan test because I don't like hearing the fan. And so I gravitate towards devices where I do not hear the fan at all, especially when fans have like coil whine or big ringing noises and all of that. This has none of that. It is air being pushed out. And in just some scenarios, it is louder than it should be, but not a deal breaker in my opinion. But it does feel like the fan is doing something. I have rarely felt this device get hot, and I really can't notice it at all. It does get warmer than my Xbox Ally X, I can notice that, but it has never been at the level that it could bother me or be an issue. So it is something where I think they probably needed a little bit better cooling, but it isn't something that's taking away from the device. On the software front, the Claw A8 does have the new Xbox full screen experience, and I've actually found it to be much snappier than on the Xbox Ally X, for whatever reason. It is super confusing, but it is awesome that it is better here. Everything is easy to move around in, and it all just works, and yeah, I would love this snappiness on every device that uses the Xbox full screen experience. That being said, their MSI Center and software and quick settings and all of that is still way behind Asus's Armory Crate and the settings they have there. I found myself missing a lot of the features that Armory Crate has, a lot of functions that has, compared to what MSI is offering here. On the battery front, I've just had no issues at all with the battery. We have an 80 watt-hour battery inside of here, and that should be the standard for all handhelds going forward. And it basically means that on the low end, you're looking at about 2 hours or so of battery life on the highest of whatever you can play. And then on the complete high end of battery life, for whatever low TDP game you want to play, you're going to be about 10 hours, 11 hours or so if you're lucky. This isn't a handheld where I felt that I need to be near a power source at all throughout any of my time playing it, which is probably the best praise I can give a PC handheld. Then we get to performance, and this is where usually you would see some benchmarks of Cyberpunk and so on, but on this channel, I like to just show off the games that I actually play and the games that I think run well on here. Lately, I've been finishing up Final Fantasy Tactics, not a hard game to run by any stretch of the imagination, but with a 1200p screen and the power here, it is a beautiful fit for the device. Forza Horizon 5 is a game that everybody shows, but I love playing Forza Horizon games, so I'm going to show it too. With 1200p, no FSR or anything, high settings, and we are regularly at 80 FPS or higher with this game. It is such a beautiful game too, it is absolutely gorgeous, and it is a perfect fit for this device. Inazuma 11 is a game that just came out and I have been playing through it, and you have zero issues at 1200p. It takes the frame rate past 60 when you're outside in the world, and when you're in an actual soccer match, it is around 60 or so. This is all with medium settings, and I'm having an absolutely great time playing this game. Call of Duty Black Ops 7 just came out, and I have been playing this off and on with a friend, and like every Call of Duty release, I am enjoying it. I really haven't hated a Call of Duty in a very long time. On the Claw at 1200p, balanced graphic settings, FSR 3 set to balanced, and we are in the 70s or 80s, and it is a gorgeous game to play on here. I find myself not enjoying the triggers too much when it comes to this game specifically, and Forza Horizon 5 with shooters and racers, but it does work. You could play here if you wanted to. Persona 3 Reload on high settings runs continually over 60 FPS and into the hundreds at 1200p. Depends on where you're at in the game and all that sort of thing, but yeah, this is an awesome game to play here and makes use of everything that the Claw has. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is a game that I beat on PlayStation, and I've been trying to make my way through it again on PC. But we have it here at 1200p, medium settings, and we are generally in the 50s to 60s, depending on where you're at in the world. And I would consider this to be more than playable. This is a really good way to play this game if you want to. Then we have Fantasy Life, a game that I love, but I have not finished just yet. I'm trying to get there. It is deceptively hard to run on these devices, especially at the higher graphic modes. But here, at 1200p, we can regularly stay in the 90s on low settings. Lastly, my personal game of the year, Expedition 33, and this game has been tough to run on all handhelds this year. But we have it here at 1200p, low settings, XeSS on balanced, and it is generally about 30 to 40 FPS in battles. I personally think this game deserves to be run at much better settings and frame rates than what you are seeing here, but if you have no other option, you could play it here and have a good time. And we can keep going and going and going, but the end result is the MSI Claw A8 packs a punch, like the Xbox Ally X and the Lenovo Legion Go 2, where pretty much any game is playable at decent frame rates, but the ones that really shine are the ones that can take advantage of the full 1200p and 120Hz refresh rate of the screen. Let's sort of wrap things up here. This is a very weird review/preview, whatever you want to call it, to do. You can't buy this in most of the countries that are actually watching me right now, so I don't know how much this is going to help you, but at 1,227 Canadian dollars or 868 US dollars, if that is the price it actually releases at, which is about almost $150 cheaper than the Xbox Ally X, I can see a lot of people really liking this handheld, and it'll be the cheapest Z2 Extreme handheld to be on the market if that actually is the price that they're going to sell it at. This has fantastic power, great battery life, good fan noise, good thermals, and all of those things are going for it. The controls and comfort, though, hamper my enjoyment of the device, personally, and it isn't something that I was personally able to overcome. But if they had just made this more comfortable, if they had just made the triggers and whatever to be normal for a handheld this size, this probably could have competed with the Xbox Ally X for me on best handheld of the year as far as PC handhelds go. That being said, if MSI releases a version of this that is curvier, has the better controls and all that sort of thing, I will be first in line to grab this. That is how much I actually enjoyed a lot of my time with this, despite all of the issues. There's a part of me that is still looking at this like, can I overcome all of that? And the answer is no, but if they come out with a better version of this that fixes all of that, I will be first in line to grab that. But it really does seem like, unlike Asus, MSI and Lenovo cannot figure out how to launch a handheld in 2025. The Lenovo Legion Go 2, you still cannot buy in Canada. Some people got lucky because it went up for a few days in the Lenovo website, but it's not on Best Buy, it's not on Amazon, you can't buy it anywhere. The MSI Claw A8, you can't buy anywhere. People have been waiting for months. This released in August. We are now in November, almost December, and you still cannot buy this in the majority of the world. So yeah, there's a reason why Asus is doing so much better than these companies with PC handhelds, is because they know how to release a device. They release it, they have a launch, they have actual dates, they might run out of stock, but hey, most of the world can actually pre-order or buy one. I can't say the same about the MSI Claw A8. So for today, this has left me with me having one of the rarest handhelds in the world and a review that only applies to maybe me and 5 others. Don't forget to like and sub to help the channel grow. Come join me on the Discord to talk all about handhelds like this one. Support me through YouTube membership if you like my stuff. And hope you all have a good one.